You're a Wisconsin native. Your family's been there for generations. Why was this election so critical?
Well, it was an election for control of a branch of government. And if you go all the way back to 2011, when Scott Walker came in, Republicans had control of the executive branch, the legislative branch, and the judicial branch. They used that control of the judicial branch to approve all of the abuses that they committed in the other two branches. So the judiciary in Wisconsin has become a really big deal. It was, as you note, a 4-3 conservative majority. On Tuesday, it flipped to a 4-3 liberal majority. And as you're suggesting here, central to that election was the issue of abortion. Mm-hmm. And abortion rights was a huge issue in this race because the liberal candidate, Janet Protasiewicz, said from the start of her campaign that she was going to talk about her values. And one of her values was a woman's right to choose.
Right. I interviewed her on the Sunday show, and she made that exact point. But, you know, John, after President Obama was reelected in 2012, there was a Republican autopsy that concluded, to quote Politico, the party would rebrand as a kinder, more inclusive GOP. John, how did the Republican Party go from that to Donald?
Well, I would argue that Scott Walker in Wisconsin started to clear the way for that change. Walker and the Republicans in Wisconsin assaulted voting rights. They assaulted labor unions. They gerrymandered the maps. They used their power in an extreme and abusive way. And I think that opened up kind of a new stream within the Republican Party that Trump picked up on. What we really need to understand is that at core, the problem in Wisconsin for now a dozen years has been those legislative maps, which gave so much power to the Republicans that even when Democrats won the most votes statewide, they didn't advance in the legislature. So now this court, this new court, has the potential to address those maps along with a host of other issues like abortion rights and labor rights.
But after what we saw in Tennessee this week, are Democrats in Wisconsin preparing for this new judge, Judge Protasiewicz, to be impeached?
There's been talk of that, but I think it's highly unlikely. This is an important thing to understand. The Republicans do now have, because of a special election, a supermajority in the state Senate. Therefore, if the state House were to impeach, the state Senate could convict. So you have that outside possibility. But here's the important thing to understand. The Republican leaders in the state Senate have said they don't want to go there, and they're smart to say that. If they tried this, it would blow up on them in all sorts of ways politically, just as things blew up on them on April 4th. And there's one other subtlety to remember, Jonathan. If the Republicans removed Janet Protasiewicz, the liberal Democratic governor of Wisconsin, Tony Evers, would replace that removed justice. So the bottom line is that the Republicans, I don't think they'll go to impeachment, but as Tennessee teaches us, they are constantly looking for some way to disempower anybody that gets in the way of their power grabs.